asked to participate in a panel with StepCon. It's such a cool conference that you guys are doing hands-on science experiments and interactive technology exhibits and having roundtable discussions like we're having today. So my name is Candace Delano. For those who may be visually impaired, I am a Hispanic middle-aged woman with medium to long hair. Today I have on a fall striped turtleneck with gold hoop earrings. My pronouns are her, she, me, never wear the same outfit twice. I work as a chief at the National Security Agency with the Commercial Compute Services. So working a lot of cloud technologies these days. We work a lot with industry such as Amazon and HPE and Google, and it's just a great place to work. So anybody, can anybody are you familiar with what is the National Security Agency? We go by NSA a lot. My family still thinks I work for NASA. I have to tell them, nope, I don't work for NASA. But if you can put in the Q&A, what is the NSA? What do you guys think we do? Okay, so didn't see any responses yet, but oh, here we go. All right, so you guys do math. Yes, we do lots of math. Thank you, Asakuna, for that. So our bread and butter is focused on SIGINT. SIGINT is signals intelligence. And so we provide signals intelligence a lot to our policymakers, to Congress, and military forces. And what SIGINT does, it plays a vital role in our national security. So it's tracking of signals. We look at messages, tracking of weapons, tracking of people's phones. Biggest thing I want to make clear is that we do not track U.S. citizens whatsoever. We track people in other countries that may want to do harm to the United States. So it's really tracking the bad guys and everything that's going on. For today's panel, we have some great speakers. So we have Dr. Maritza Mareo and Mr. Silvino Gonzalez, who goes by Sil. We did have, I don't know, Christina Thompson, if she has logged on under another name. I didn't see Christina come on. But today we do have Maritza and Sil, who we will be asking some questions. Feel free to put some questions in the Q&A portion. They all come from Maritza and Sil come from very diverse backgrounds, and they all have some pretty cool jobs today that I hope that you're going to be hearing about. And after this panel, please reach out to us. And if you want to learn more about the NSA, or if you're interested in coming to work for us in the future and keeping our nation safe. So with that said, can I go ahead and start with Dr. Mareo, and if you can introduce yourself to everyone today, that would be great.
Yes, thank you, Candace. My name is Marisa Marrero, and I was born in New York, but raised in Puerto Rico. So I always say I'm from Puerto Rico 100%. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry and also a PhD in analytical chemistry. And right now, my position at NSA, I'm the deputy chief of a research organization. And yes, we do science as well. Yeah. And prior joining NSA, I was a math scientist working at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, and find myself here for the last 20 years. And I'm happy to be here and to provide my story to you all.
Great. All right. So, Sil, do you mind coming off mute and introducing yourself to everyone virtually?
Sure thing. How is everybody? I'm Sil Gonzalez. So my story is a little bit different, right? That's one of the great things about working with the National Security Agency, that we're a very diverse bunch. I come from I'm from Texas. I was born in Brownsville, Texas, which is the southernmost town in Texas, right at the tip of Texas, right alongside the border. So I'm a border person. My way to the National Security Agency came from joining the military. At 18 years old, I went in the military. I got a job with a clearance. I started doing this work in cybersecurity, and I did it for 21 years while I was in the military. I retired in 2008. I came back in, and I started working with the agency as an intelligence analyst. Currently, I am a technical director at a group level. Just years working with the agency and with different offices, sort of align me to be able to help the new folks that are actually prosecuting our work, and I pretty much monitor their training, their tradecraft, and their education, and try to provide them with the tools they need to do the work that they need to do. That's me in a nutshell, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
All right, thank you, Sil. All right, so let me go ahead and start off with a question for our panelists today. So working at the NSA, you can hold different positions. And so, Dr. Mareo, would you mind coming off mute and telling us about the different positions you've held at the National Security Agency?
Oh, yes. When I started in 2004, I was just a, back then it was called microelectronic engineer specialist. Yes, I was hired to become a manager. Back then, I didn't know anything about NSA. So when they called me to join NSA, I was like, nope, I want to continue doing science. But they convinced me to become a manager. So when I joined, I started with this 1 year as a member of this image processing team. And the second year, I became a supervisor on the microelectronics organization. And then I went to be the chief of my third year of a different organization, product reliability and analysis, still under the microelectronics umbrella. I was there for 2 years, leading 3 different teams, and then went back to my original team, hardware reverse engineering, and became the deputy chief of that organization. After 5 or 7 years, I applied to a PCS. It's like a field site position at NC State University. I was a researcher, working with the professors, working with analysts, did different type of research on influence, radicalization, diversity, leadership, cybersecurity. I was there for 3.5 years, and then went back to NSA Maryland to cybersecurity directorate. Was there for 2.5 years, leading the people. Then I applied to a different organization in the research directorate, which I'm the deputy chief here. So most of my career, I have been a manager and a leader. And what NSA offered me and everyone that joins NSA has had the opportunity to work at different work roles in your career. If I would like to go back to technical roles, I can do that as well. So having support from my supervisor, my upper leadership, and mentors to help me like craft my career roadmap. So being at NSA, I have the opportunity to work in management, but at different position, at different levels in the organization.
That sounds awesome. It sounds like you really had a diverse career and have had so many different positions, and sounds really, really cool. So Sil, can you tell us about the different jobs you had, and maybe how was the training? When you started with the military and then went into the NSA, did they provide you with all the tools and the training that you needed to be successful?
I believe so. So coming up in the military, for some of you guys, if you're looking at that as an option, certainly you will get assigned a job that sometimes gets you aligned with agencies like this one, like ours. I just happened to get what I had. In the beginning of my career, I worked out of Europe. So I was stationed in Italy for a few years. I was stationed in Japan for a few years. Came back to Maryland because I was it was all NSA missions. So the schoolhouses for the military intelligence missions with the National Security Agency are all over the country. Mine happened to be in Pensacola, Florida. So when I first joined the military here in Texas, I'm a first generation American, so my parents are Mexican. Grew up speaking Spanish, and that was it. So when I came in the military, I had no idea where I was going to go with my career. I came in what we used to call open administrative. So I just got lucky, and I ended up going to Pensacola, Florida, and learning a little bit about Morse code, and that was interesting. I was a good typist, so when they asked me to take a little bit of a test and see if I was able to do that, and I managed to learn a couple of characters. All of a sudden, I ended up with that training. That took me to Florida for some initial training. Got introduced to what it is to be able to handle national security data and information, and how to secure it. And from there, Italy was my first duty station. I had wonderful trainers. We've always had managers that were employees of the National Security Agency. So they mentored me, helped me out, and taught me some of the things that I used later in my career as an intelligence analyst. That with 21 years went really fast. Within the first 4 or 5 years as a military sergeant, you become a sort of a leader, a supervisor. So since then, I pretty much took a manager role when I came back into the agency, and really around shortly after 9/11, cyber analysis. So cyber became a big deal, and I jumped on that. Challenged by my supervisor, and I started taking classes. I finished my bachelor's in intelligence studies early in my career, and after that, I just did a lot of training. I wasn't really good at computers, so I started taking all my basics like A+, all the certifications, Network Plus, Security Plus, some basic CCNA, and I started just kind of and that allowed me to apply with 15 years of experience, a handful of certifications, and a bachelor's degree in a related field, and I came back in. So and then here I am 13 years later.
Wonderful. Super interesting that you got to really see the world, really. So I would really want to touch on your bachelor's, because we've had some questions come in from the audience. And so you got it in intelligence studies. How long did it take you to get your bachelor's? And did NSA ever help you to get your bachelor's degree? Over.
So I finished my bachelor's when I was in the military. I joined right after high school, so I was 18 years old. I did one semester of community college in my hometown, and then I came in the military. Once you're in the military, you have full-time jobs. So, and I got married right away, and I started. We had 2 babies, so it took me a while. It took me like 10 years to finish, but I was managing a full-time job and 3 babies, and trying to learn a new skill, and all of that. So if you don't have to do that, don't do it, because that's the long way. But the military is provided that 75% coverage of my tuition. So the military and the Department of Defense really helped me finish that. All of my technical training and my certifications were paid for by the military and the National Security Agency.
Great, thank you for sharing. So I'm going to go over to Dr. Mareo, and if you can answer one of the audience's question is, what type of challenges do you face at the NSA?
Oh gosh. one, as a manager, I'll say one of the big challenges that we have is resources, making sure that we have the funding and the people with the right skills to do the job. And also our technical challenges, making sure that we are ahead, that we are partnering with the other agency in the intelligence community, making sure that we are addressing the AI ML that is now big right now.
Great. Yeah, those are all challenges that we all do face every day, is resources, right? There's never enough money for all the stuff we want to do to bring in all the new capabilities. So yeah, those are some of the challenges. There was a question, do you have an engineering degree?
No, I'm pure science, chemistry. Yes. However, I have taken a couple of engineering courses and programming just to learn about it and be able to understand what my researcher or engineers are doing in terms of their projects as well.
So I'll ask you the same question I asked Sil. Did the NSA help you to get the background or the research or the education that you needed for the engineering side ever? Did they give you classes?
Well, NSA, they helped me to get a graduate certificate a couple of years ago. Yeah. People say, Marisa, you have a PhD, you don't need another degree. I'm like, no, I'm a learning person. I like to learn more. And the good thing from NSA have a lot of college programs that I can apply to. And that's what I did. We have one that is called 2020. That is, I work 20 hours a week plus study 20 hours a week, and they pay for everything. And that's how I got a graduate certificate. And but in this one was in terrorist analysis because of my research work back in NC State University.
Great. Yes. All right. So I did get a question that can you tell us more about myself? I don't like to talk about myself. I have my bachelor's is in criminal justice. I did minors in women's studies and intelligence studies. I actually started off in a lab in New Mexico where I translated documents for the NSA. And that's how I found out about the NSA. They would come over and talk to me about some of the documents that I was translating, and I would brief them on it. And so they said, hey, why don't you come over to Maryland? I didn't want to leave my family in New Mexico because I was very close, and we never really moved away from, kind of like still, I lived on the border, was raised on the border, right? But came to Maryland, and I've had a wonderful 17 years career with the NSA. I have gone to live in England for 4 years and work closely with GCHQ, which is our partners. And then I have gone to live in Hawaii for 2 years, worked on some of the missions that we needed to do on the Pacific coast, and been in and out of Maryland. So I have an 8-year-old daughter, and my husband works for the National Security Agency as well. So that's a little bit about myself. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to the panelists. So still, what do you like working best about with the NSA?
Oh, so many things, but one of my favorite things, and if any of you listeners are still, have a chance to go to nsa.gov, it's an open website. You'll see my story there. They're still hanging in there from last Tuesday, and there's a lot of background and some of my story coming up, but still they're available. And I talk about that in that interview. That's the reason why I'm mentioning it. But my favorite part really is working with young folks like yourselves. A lot of people come into the National Security Agency either via the military or recent graduates from different programs that we offer. We even have some high school opportunities in around the country. So all these folks that come in and help us out, it kind of reminds me of me, and I enjoy being there, and I enjoy mentoring them, helping them out, having conversations, telling them my story. I think it kind of allows them to understand that they have a lot to contribute and a lot to bring to the table. That's my favorite part. But and this my second favorite part, and it's really close. They're really like parallel. Really is working with the folks that I work with, because my fellow panelists here, we have a lot of folks with high caliber degrees, with lots of knowledge and understanding of the most complicated topics when it comes to technologies. And they're always ready and willing to share that information. Our mission in life really is to keep the country safe. I'm a career military guy, 21 years of service, serving my country and being part of an effort that's a lot greater than me. That's really not doesn't do with money. It has to do with how you feel at the end of the day. It's probably my favorite part.
We always wish that there was more money, right? But yes, that, you know, you have to be satisfied with your job, right? You have to want to, money's not going to make you happy. It's who you work with and what you do at the end of the day that really fulfills my cup anyways. But thanks still. So Dr. Mateo, what do you enjoy working with NSA?
The people. Believe it or not, if you will ask me this 20 years ago, I will say no. As a scientist or chemist, I just wanted to work with my beakers and my equipment. I thought of people, they talk back at you. And so, but now it's the people, leading the people, supporting the people, helping the people, the mission also, being able to contribute to the mission and help my people, provide them the opportunity so they can also accomplish and contribute to the mission. The opportunities to continue growing in my career, to continue learning different fields, the partnership that we have with academia and industry, the flexibility that I am able to do 3 hours a week to do exercise, my mental health, you know, that taking care of me and my people. The opportunity to apply my skills and gain new one, and also to contribute to mission, the opportunity to travel, that if I want to get a new job, I don't have to resign. You know, I can just apply to a different position and there's no unemployment in between, or the stress in trying to find another job. So it's the number one is working with the people. Yes, that's what makes me happy.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So that I have to agree, you know, is if once you fulfill your job and you meet all of the challenges, or you feel like you become an expert, there's always another challenge that the NSA allows you to just try to change over. So I'm going to go over to Sil, since we're talking about people. We're getting a lot of questions about, you know, is it just an engineering degree? What kind of degrees do you need to work at NSA? Can you talk about the different types of people that you have to work with every day? You know, maybe in capabilities or in logistics.
Sure thing. So I work in a cybersecurity directorate. So working the cybersecurity directorate, we always talk about cybersecurity being a team effort. We have a lot of different people that work with us that make the sauce, right? So everything from teams of mathematicians that sort of help us dig into the bigger problems, to linguists, language specialists, also help us kind of do the work that we do. We have all kinds of different military work roles, from intelligence analysts to engineers as well. When we need a new tool built, when the new technology comes on and starts taking off, then we have to investigate and figure out how can we take advantage of whatever vulnerabilities there are. so we have a diverse work role in a diverse education. We have English majors. We have to put all our findings into some sort of reports that we provide to our partners and customers. So those guys take care of that part. So yeah, it's very, very diverse.
Yeah, we had a question is if we build stuff. So I think you went through a lot of different work roles, right? So we don't build buildings, but we build stuff all the time, right? We build different capabilities on how we can catch the bad guys and stuff. We build different types of models on how we can problem solve stuff. One of my friends at work is even working on some electric car stuff right now. So that's very diverse with the NSA. We've had some people join late. So Dr. Mateo, one of the questions is, what is the NSA? How would you best describe the NSA?
An intelligence community organization that it's here to address all the different challenges to keep our nation safe.
Great. Okay, and then we did have a question about student programs. Let me see, do you have more of a need for students or graduates with degrees in computer information systems? So I say we need degrees in everything, right? In all roles, in engineering, in science, in mathematics. And we have a huge communications team. So we need people with communications degrees. We also have psychologists that work with us, right? So, and emergency management personnel. We even have our own police force, believe it or not. A lot of federal agencies don't have their own police force, but the NSA does. So it's super cool. Okay. So, Mr. Leffen, there was a question for you, if you don't mind answering, is how do you develop your panels? Do you come up with your own panels?
So we do have panels for our different conferences. So like for this panel, I think Candace is the one who set up the speakers, but we try and get the experts in the field because they're the ones who do the work and they're the ones who know best. So that's how I'm always looking for the experts who can share with students and teachers and administrators on what work is out there.
Great, thank you. All right, so if I can go ahead and go back to Sil. Sil, what was your favorite place since you have traveled so much? What was your favorite place that you worked at?
Oh,
or
my
which
goodness.
country?
I'm going to say the good old United States of America. I say San Antonio, where I live today, is my favorite place. I can have my breakfast tacos every morning. I can have my Tex-Mex food and my Mexican food. I'm very happy with all of that. I did enjoy my time in Japan, but actually all of them. I never had a bad assignment. Italy was wonderful. I was a very young man then, and really enjoyed traveling across Europe. But I have to say that San Antonio, Texas is still my favorite spot.
Great to hear. Dr. Mateo, I think when I met you, you were working in North Carolina, or correct me if I'm wrong, but you have lived in different places while working with the NSA. What has been your favorite place?
Actually, I work at different places before joining NSA. I did a postdoctoral degree in Minnesota, and then I did one in Texas. I love Texas. That's where College Station, Texas A&M, where I did my PhD. I work in, Tennessee, New York, different places. I had the opportunity to travel to France for a conference. This is all what education can give you. Stay in school, get educated, and you will have the opportunity to travel. While here in NSA, I have stayed local here. My only travel has been to North Carolina. I have 2 kids that I'm taking care of. And once they go to college, then my goal is to go work at field site overseas. Yeah. but not yet.
You know, when I worked in Hawaii, a lot of people use that as their retirement site, their last kind of job that they were going to work for the NSA, because everyone wanted to, you know, retire in Hawaii. So I always thought that was fun. Great. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pass it back over to Sil. One of the questions that we got was, you have to be an engineer to work at NASA. If you guys weren't here earlier, a lot of people get NSA and NASA confused. NASA are the space people that launch them into space. NSA, we work on signals intelligence, tracking bad guys, non-US citizens. But Sil, one of the questions was, do you have to have an engineering degree to work at NSA?
No, you don't. No, you don't. The STEM field is really where a lot work with. So anything with science, mathematics, technology, those or related fields. My degree is in intelligence studies. It's not a BS, it's a BA. English majors, history majors, psychology majors, all are welcome, because we need everybody. It is truly a team effort that we get moving within our organization. STEM is the reason why we do a lot of this outreach talks, and if one of the statistics that I heard actually today that was very striking was that the percentages of people that are entering the STEM field is still very, very I don't know, it's a little surprising to me. Only about 26% of the people working in the STEM field, in the cybersecurity field specifically, are women. Only 9% are African American, and only 4% are Hispanic Latino. You know, we have to do better. So STEM is a drive. We do a lot of that here in San Antonio because we know we can do this. So we want to get you guys and everybody that's into the federal service, and you would enjoy it, because it just makes you feel good at the end of the day. You know, we do things behind closed doors to keep America safe, and there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Sil. So I saw that Katie Bradsford is online. So we have a lot of student programs at NSA. Dr. Madeo told you about the 2020 program, where she worked 20 hours a week and got 20 hours to go work on her degree. We have high school work studies, you know, at all of our sites that come and work with us just to kind of get a start with NSA. They get a full top secret clearance. We also have different programs where people go to college all year long, and they come work for us for the summer. I believe that StepCon does have a briefing on all of our programs later on, if I'm right, but look out for that. We are rolling up into our last 6 minutes. Am I right, Mr. Leppin?
We have an hour, so
good.
we have another 20, 25 or so.
Okay, Katie, do you mind asking to come off of mute, so that way maybe you can give a quick couple of minutes on all of our student programs? And while we wait for Katie to do that, how about Dr. Madeo? So one of the questions came in for you is, what do you do for science? Like, I guess kind of relate your job and how you use your science degree.
Well, my background is in chemistry, so I haven't done chemistry here. However, the group that my first group here, they have a nice lab in which they do the processing of integrated chips, just to delayer it and take images, so do verification to make sure that nothing has been added or removed from the chips. In my current job, we have physicists who design experiments to study radio frequency research here. let's see, but also we collaborate with our computer science and with our engineers and with the students from the developmental programs or the participants to help advance the science, advance research. Yeah. So it's depending on the project, that's how we will apply our skills. It's not just science, it's like a combination of different skills that will help us achieve the goals of our projects.
Yeah, there's lots of different types of scientists, right, that work at the NSA. Lots of different types. We have, nuclear scientists that work with nuclear code. And then we have our data scientists. So when we're getting signals intelligence, we're getting so much data that comes in. And so our scientists are the ones that make sense for us. So what is all this data? So we do have Katie, who is able to come off of mute. So
Yes.
do you mind telling us about some of the student programs that the National Security Agency offers?
No, first of all, thanks for letting me join the party. And hopefully everyone has their pen and paper ready because there's a lot of information to grab. So let me be upfront about the deadlines for the application process real quick because that is approaching. We're accepting applications for the programs up until October the 15th. So I just want to plug this in real quick because that deadline is very important. Right now we have pre-college programs and we have college programs. So I can start with our pre-college programs, which is high school work studies. High school work studies, students will have to be working close to home, so they have to be local for this particular program. And they must work 20 hours a week within this program. Let's see, the students are paid a full-time salary during that time as well. Well, not a full-time, but for their part-time for whatever work that they put in. And they're paid for their paid holiday pay and sick leave. And then we have our Lovely Stokes program, which is a very competitive program where we hire our high school students that are focusing in computer science, electrical engineering, computer engineering, also our Chinese majors and Russian majors. These students are paid a full-time salary, $30,000 towards their tuition, or $15,000 per semester. Now, the beauty of this program is that they're all hired as full-time students. So they're on our roster. So they belong to us. The only thing is that there's a 1.5 time commitment after they graduate to this program. But they receive all of our benefits and again, a full-time salary. When they come work for us in the summertime for that 12 weeks, we cover their travel, we cover their housing. And then now to our college program, we have the co-op program or the cooperative educational program. This program is slightly different because it requires the students to work 1 semester on, 1 semester off, which will extend their graduation date. However, they still get paid a full-time salary and they get paid full-time benefits while they're here. Beauty. And then lastly, we have our summer internship. With our summer internship program, there are over 30 opportunities under this program, so students can be placed anywhere throughout the agency versus co-op, which is cybersecurity, our computer science, and language doing that. So our co-op, is technical. With summer internship, there's no degree requirement really, so they can have whatever degree under this program. Again, 12 weeks over the summer, full-time salary, subsidized housing, and benefits. I know I ran through that really quickly, but just to, give some time for the questions.
Thank you, Katie. Yes, the NSA offers so many student programs, and it's wonderful working with the next generation because they come in with so many ideas on how we can improve our processes and how we can make things better. So it's great that we can bring in the next generation. And right now we have about 5 different generations working at the NSA, and it is a great place to work because everybody's voices are heard, everybody's ideas. When we go to meetings and stuff, you see all the generations, and you see how we can solve problems and how we keep our nation safe. So it's been really great.
It's a great portal into the agency. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to get just multiple different, levels of experience through, for these new, careers that they're trying to establish. So it's a great opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you so much,
No
Katie.
problem.
Okay,
No.
I'm going to go over to Sil. There was a question came in that says, do you have to travel when you're working? Have you been required to travel for work ever?
Yes, most definitely. We have a lot of partners. Like I said, it's anything that we do within the National Security Agency is a team effort. We have a lot of partners in industry, a lot of partners in academia, meaning schools and colleges, and national laboratories. So many times, as we are working on a project, we partner with one of these industry partners or academic partners. Often we travel to their places and they travel to ours, shake hands, get to know each other, talk about the projects and how we can collaborate. And that's the majority of the travel that we do. We go home a lot, meaning we go back to headquarters. So we do that back and forth. A lot of the management of the projects is our headquarters. So we go, we're familiar with the East Coast. Though I stay in Texas as much as I can. There's also conferences like the one that you're in today, different levels that we travel for training and for collaboration as well.
Yeah, thank you. And Dr. Mareo, so do you have to travel for your job?
I could, but I can. But my researcher, I have one person, she's an electrical engineer, and she's doing research on 5G wireless. And she has the opportunity because of her job on the 5G standards body. She has traveled to France, to India, to Holland, because that's where they have in their meetings. So yes, you can have the opportunity to travel depending on the job position that you have.
Great, thanks. All right, so Mr. Leffen, a question came in from you, and one was, what is the best part of StepCon?
Wow. So we have a lot of partners with StepCon, and so it's nice to see all the, like, we have the NSA, JPL, the Navy, different universities, all the different, they're coming together, and we have a nice hybrid system. We have 2,000 students, over 2,000 students going through the in-person aspect of it. And then we have this virtual aspect here too. And everything is going to be on demand for the next month as well. So while you're here, you can see the other things later on in the month. So it's just a nice way to get these STEM jobs and STEM fields out to the kids who can think forward about what kind of jobs they want to have when they graduate from high school and move on.
Great. All right. Okay. And then so let's go back over to Sil. And you talked about some of you going to go visit partners, right? So what do you mean when you say partners? Who does the NSA partner with?
So a lot of national labs do a lot of research. I think Dr. Marrero just mentioned a couple of things. The new technologies, the 5G. More just recently, we went to Texas A&M, which is close. It's about 3 hours from here, because they have this super nice laboratory space where they can test out technologies like 5G. Or like laser technology, and we get to go and work with them. We also get to go to places like actually we have a person going from HLAT, from the Hispanic Latino ERG, going to Pasadena, California, to do a conference like the one you're in, but this one is for Great Minds in STEM. It's called GMIS. We have another person going to come November to the Society of Hispanic Engineers in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm not going to that. They're going to that. We try to get them out to travel as well. So yeah, those are some of the partners that we visit and we work with.
Yeah, that you named so many, and I think you mentioned Society Hispanic of Engineers, and what's kind of nice about working with the NSA, if you agree still, is that we can do, I like to call them side hustles, right? Like we can go and recruit if we wanted to. We can go and speak at these conferences, and it's all part of our job, and we still we still do our daily duties, right, of keeping the nation safe. So Dr. Madeo, so Sil brought up HLET ERG. Do you mind telling us what was he talking about when he said HLET ERG?
Yeah, that's the Hispanic Latino Employee Resource Group. As of 5 days ago, I was the chair officer. Now we have Manny Trejo, he's the new chair officer. And in this team, our goals is to represent the Hispanic Latino community, provide opportunities for them to develop in the career, provide mentorship, and also participate in the outreach and recruitment so that we can address the underrepresentation of Hispanic Latino in the agency. We like to collaborate. The good thing from NSA is that each directorate is a sponsor for one or two ERG groups. And so we encourage everyone that joins NSA to become a member of the ERGs. Like Sil mentioned, one of the things that we do for outreach and recruitment is to attend conferences. We have SACNAS. We have Raíces, those two new conferences, and as well as Great Mind and STEM. And the only disadvantage is that it's between the month of September and October, where is the change in the fiscal year. But we plan ahead of time so that we have participation and volunteers from our members to travel. And also we sponsor some workshops. I think for CHIP and Great Mind and STEM, we have a cybersecurity workshop. We also have done soft skills presentations as well at the conferences. So it's opportunity to build our network, to learn from other culture here at NSA as well.
Yeah, so learning about culture, right? The NSA really pushes bringing your authentic self to work. It's really important that you can be comfortable with who you are. So one of the things I love is that there's no dress code, right? If you want to come in sweatpants, you can come in sweatpants. If you want to wear a three-piece suit, you can wear a three-piece suit. And you see all those different walks of life every day in our hallways. So still going off the employee resource group, still I've gone to Texas and I see that they have a different model, right? Because the site in Texas is a little smaller. And so they kind of have like a board or where all the different ERGs are represented. Do you mind still maybe naming a few of the other employee resource groups that the agency has besides the HLET group?
Sure thing. I think what the employee resource groups, what these groups are about, is making sure that we provide, what's needed for underrepresented groups, folks that need maybe a sense of community. So we have our Islamic Muslim ERG, we have a women's ERG, we have LGBTQ plus ERG, and veterans ERG. We have an ESL, English as a Second Language ERG, which I'm a member of, and a few others. Those are the ones I can remember.
Great. And English as a second language, that's one of our newest ERGs. But why was it needed is one of the things is we have a lot of different linguists. Our agency is based off of languages because a lot of these bad guys that we're chasing do not speak English. And so we have to hire people that know different languages so they can do the translation. Great. Thank you. So we are running up for our last couple of minutes. So I do want to make sure that we get all the questions answered from the audience. So if I miss something, can you just please put it into the Q&A once again? But if I can start off with the panelists, and can you give the audience one piece of advice? What would that be? It could be personally, professionally. What's some good advice that people can walk away with? I'll go ahead and start with Dr. Mareo.
For me, I'll say pursue your dreams, be persistent and determined. Look for mentors that could help you achieve your goals. We're all humans, we make mistakes, but course correct what necessary, because when we do mistake, it's not a failure, it's an opportunity to learn and to grow. Have fun while doing your job, but also practice mindfulness. It's very important to take care of our mental health. And yeah, yes, just
Yeah,
don't give
great.
up and keep going.
All great advice. Thank you. I really like the mistakes. So I like to think of my job every day as a big science experiment. I know the StepCon is really big on science experiments. That's one great thing is working for the US government is they want you to do the research and to test things out, right? We're not always going to get it right the first time. I think when you work in industry, sometimes, failures are seen as not a good return on your investment, right? But working with a national security agency, it's okay if we didn't do it right the first time. Let's keep working on it. Let's keep going. Let's keep building on it. That's what's really great. Okay, so Sil, what is your piece of advice to give to the audience?
I think persistence is important. Just to echo what Dr. Marrero just mentioned, be persistent. The STEM is not an easy thing to pursue. A lot of people get started. I'm one. I started, and then I was like, I stopped my mathematics. Especially when you're in an underrepresented group and you come from a place, a neighborhood or a state in an area like mine, where they don't really know what to do with us, right? With me, I think that they just wanted us to graduate high school, so they didn't push mathematics. They're like, just you need two math classes and you graduate high school and you move on. But I liked it. Had I stayed with it, had I had a good mentor and a good and pursued it, I think I would be right there with my mathematicians. But I'm not. Be persistent, stay the course, get through it. It's the future, and I think you will enjoy a great rest of your life.
Yeah, I think, being persistent, you mentioned, finding mentors, right? That's important. And you mentioned some of the conferences. And I think that is a great start for students to find mentors that are outside of their areas and stuff, right? So the SHIP and the SACNAS and all of these wonderful conferences that are around the world, if you can, those are great places to start to find mentors to help you with the education and in your career. So I'll go ahead and go over to Katie. What is one piece of advice that you would give the audience?
I always say, don't limit your talent. Don't put yourself in a bubble. Continue to pursue your dreams, and be kind to yourself. And that's always one that I live by, because we're always the hardest critic. And that's it.
Yes, we all are always my biggest critic. I really think that the NSA does focus a lot on mental health. Like one of the things I like is the Q hour. They call it the quiet hour, where they send out nice videos of, you walking on a beach or something. And they really do focus a lot on mental health, right? They offer different services. There's different women's groups and stuff that to make sure that we all are happy and safe. All right, I'm going to go ahead, Mr. Leffen. What is your one piece of advice for the audience today?
Do something that you're interested in doing, because it's all consuming for work, and you want to make sure that you're doing it.
Good one.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. So it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So I'm going to go ahead and call it if there's no more questions.
I don't see any other either. So thank you all, Ms. Solano and everyone else, all the panelists. So appreciate it. It was fantastic, very interesting to hear. And that ends our panel. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thank-